Welcome to my project ideas. This is an ongoing series on SAP UI5 projects. And in this particular video, we'll learn how to integrate a code editor in SAP UI5. So SAP UI5 can be developed, using a code editor provided by SAP. It can be Business Application Studio, it can be Web IDE. But if you want to create your own editor, via which you can also execute codes, you can showcase it over a platform, portal, you can do that. And for that, SAP has integrated something called ACE editor within its own code paradigm. So you need to have basic knowledge of AC editor. You can just go on, Google and read about it. And thereafter, you will need to have access of IDE. It can be BAS, it can be Web ID, and certainly you'll need to have basic knowledge of SAP UI5. So before I jump into the actual coding, so code editor comes with two different approaches. The first one is default auto completion, and second one is custom auto completion. So default auto completion is something where you actually, if I just try to write something like return, right? These are the standard things that has been created by SAP, or that has been accepted globally by all the developers, you know and suppose if I go to custom auto completion, you will see if I try to write my project ideas, this is the name of our website. So even I can create something using like this. I can write my own name, my name is Rudra. So in this way you can create our own auto completion. So these are the differences between default auto completion and custom auto completion. And also we have a functionality called run javascript code. So ultimately it's right that you will create an editor and you will have to read the entire code and run it out. The same thing all the editor do, they read the code and run or execute the code to showcase the output. The same thing we'll do here. So we'll just write something called alert, right? Alert is a keyword. Within it I will say just hello India, something like that, and just run the JavaScript code. You see, Hello India came over the alert box. So like this you can write your own code and execute it out. Even you can write more code like this. I will just add more functions. Function 2, function 3. Okay, let me just rename the function name, my function 2 and my function 3. And if you see, I can make it look bad, something like that I can do. And there's a functionality called pretty printer. You can click on that, your entire code is now pretty printer. So like this you can utilize these features of core editor provided by SAP UI5. So let's jump into coding now. So if in terms of view, I have the page title like this, right? This is the page title, my project ideas, code editor. And then I have not written anything inside the page. Reason being, the code editor is not supported by the page element, so you need to create it outside the page element. So it is all outside the entire code section like this. And we have something called icon tab header. So these are the headers, right, where I'm just switching it. And then we have some buttons, right, where we are executing the code, we are making the code look pretty, something like that we have done. So this is the way that we have developed the UI of the code editor. If I jump to controller, so the very first thing you need to have is this code editor installed here, right, in the definition. And also we have defined some global variables like o editor example1 example2. So what happens, like o editor is something that will have the component of the actual editor component, right? So whatever we have defined here, it will hold that value. And we'll use it in all the scenario when we click a button, when we switch a tab. So like this we are using it. And the example1 example2 is something we are showing by default. So if I just refresh the entire website, so whatever data will come by default within the sections, that is actually being loaded here. Example1 example2. So if you see, it is not loading by default. When I click this particular tab, then it loads this and this. So you can write your ABAP code here, you can write your SAP UI5 code here. Like that you can create your own editor, and each editor will be changed as per the type of coding you are using. So for that also you need to send this type of the editor, right? So on select tab, what we are doing, we are getting the particular tab, and if it is the tab A or tab B, we are setting the example 1 or example 2 as its default entry. We are setting the type, either rather it can be JavaScript or it can be ABAP. And for the second part, the auto completion part, we are also setting something called these, custom parameters. So it is called custom auto completion. So for that, you need to actually push your custom things. So like this, I have pushed my name, I have pushed the name of my website, and also like suppose I'm going to type read, what else it can show? Read file, read stream with some params. Let me try read. You see, these three options are coming. I can add one more. I will call it read now. Read now. Fine. I'll save it up. I will refresh it up. I'll try to write here read now. Read now. Nothing is coming. But if I go to custom auto completion and try the same thing, now read now is coming, right? So custom auto completion triggers this entire set of code, and it makes the custom auto completion enabled editor, right? And on click of pretty code, I'm just making the pretty print function enabled, and on click of run code, I'm using JavaScript eval. You know, there is a query in JavaScript via which you can run other scripts. So it is called eval, and I'm just pushing the entire code that I'm writing over the editor. So in this way, we have created the editor within the SAP UI5, and it looks very simple and clean, and it can be utilized to create more editors for different type of coding languages. I believe you have liked this video, and subscribe the channel for more. Thank you very much.